everyone. Today we're doing something really neat with patterns. You'll see I have my whiteboard set up, but before we do, I just want to ask you if you've ever heard of the word translate before. The word translate means to change from one thing to another. Sometimes you translate a language. If someone's speaking English, like someone says hello in English, and you want to translate that to Spanish, it would be hola. So you can translate things from one language to another. We're going to work today on translating patterns from one form to another. You can see at the top that my pattern is in shapes. So let's read these shapes. Let's read the pattern. It goes triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle, square. So that's one way to do a pattern, right? Is with shapes. Now I want to translate that pattern from shapes into a color pattern. So I see, first thing we need to do is decide how many parts are there to my pattern. I want you to think back to last year when we broke our patterns into train cars. So what's the part for this one? What's the part that goes over and over again? Yeah, like we said before, it's triangle, square, right? And that's the part that you see that goes over and over and over. Triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle, square. Okay. Now, how many different items are there in my pattern? There's a triangle and there's a square. So there's two different things. So if I'm going to turn this pattern into colors, I need, how many colors do you think? 2. Okay, so I'm going to use blue and pink. So I would say my triangle is going to be blue. So if there's a triangle, I'm going right below it, I'm going to use blue. Okay, so my triangle is blue. My square will be pink. Okay, so blue, pink. And now there, I look up above, I see a triangle. So what color will that be? Blue. And then square will be what color? Pink. The triangle will be blue. Square will be pink. Okay, so we translated this pattern from shapes to colors. Okay, I'm going to give you a pattern, and I want to see if you can translate it into colors. Okay, so you might need a piece of scrap paper, unless you have a couple different colors of whiteboard markers. You could use your whiteboard, but if you don't, you'll need to use regular markers on a piece of paper. Okay, so you don't get the colors on your whiteboard. So here's a pattern for you. I'm going to do circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle. So the first thing I want you to do is to write down this pattern, okay? And then I want you to translate it into colors. Okay, so you're going to need to pause me, translate that into colors. Okay, let's go ahead, and you should be back. You should be finished with that. What colors did you choose to use? Okay, they might be different from what I'm using, but let's see if we can get the idea. So the part of this pattern that goes over and over and over again, let's see, it goes circle, triangle, circle, triangle, circle, triangle. So circle, triangle goes over and over. Okay, now let's translate it into colors. I'm going to use orange and purple. So my circle is orange, My triangle is purple. Okay. Then my circle is orange. Triangle is purple. Circle is orange. Triangle is purple. Okay. So now we've translated them into colors. Now there's one more way that we can translate these patterns. We can translate them into letter patterns. Okay, so we translated from shape patterns to color patterns. Now let's translate into letters. So remember, the first part of our pattern gets the first letter of the alphabet, which would be A. Second part of our pattern gets the second letter of the alphabet, which would be B. Okay, so far we have A, B. Now, do I need any other letters, or am I good with A and B? Yep, stick with A and B. So anytime I see a triangle or blue, it's an A. Anytime I see a square or pink, it's blue. A. Okay, so A, B, A, B, A, B. So now the part of this pattern that goes over and over and over again with letters is A, B. So we call this an A, B pattern. Okay, let's do the same thing down here. Why don't you go ahead and try and label your pattern with letters. Okay, so pause me. Label your pattern. And then come on back. Okay. First part of the pattern gets an A. Second part of the pattern gets a B. Do we need any more letters? A, B. Orange is A, purple is B. Okay, and then the part of this that goes over, A, B, A, B, A, B. So A, B is this type of pattern. Now, could we do this with patterns that have 3 parts or 4 parts? Yes, so let's go ahead and try one that has a few more parts to it together. Okay, so let's do a pattern that is like this: circle, circle, triangle, square. Circle, circle, triangle, square. Okay, let's work on translating this into colors. So the first thing I need is a color for circles. Let's color circles orange. Okay, orange. And I could go ahead over here. See, there's some circles right there, and I could color those in orange too. Okay, I'm not doing my best coloring here because I want to be pretty quick with this. The triangle, I'm going to color green. Oh, my 2 favorite colors together. Okay, so triangles get colored green. And now I need to do the squares. I'll do the squares blue. Okay, so let's see if this is the pattern that goes over. Orange, orange, green, blue. Orange, orange, green, blue. That looks okay to me so far. Okay, so now we're going to need to figure out how to translate this into letters. Why don't you pause me and see if you can get the letters for this pattern. I wonder how many letters it will need. Okay, did you give that a go? Okay, I was trying to think about how many letters it needs. And I see 3 different shapes. And I see 3 different colors. How many letters do you think we'll need then? Probably 3. So let's start. Anytime I see a circle or a triangle, I mean a circle or orange, Those are our first parts of the pattern, so we'll label them A. Is this something different or is it the same? Oh, it's the same, so that's also A. Is this something different or the same? Different. Okay, have we seen that before? No. Triangle green, so that has to be our second letter, which is B. It's the second part of our pattern. Then we get down here. Okay, it's a square and it's blue. Have we seen that before? Nope. Is it new? Yeah. So it's the third part, so A, B, C. Okay. Oh, and now here's a circle and an orange. And we've seen that before. That's A. Oh, we know that's A. Okay, have we seen this before? Yes, it's B. How about this? It's C. So here's our pattern. Let's read it together. A, B, C. A, B, C. Okay, now, let's see. This is the part of our pattern that repeats, right? A, B, C. A, B, C. So we would call this pattern an A, B, C pattern. Ooh, that's a tricky one. Tricky, tricky. Okay, I think you're ready to give this a go. So we've been doing some practicing, and here's what you have to do. The same exact thing, but you're doing it on paper. Here's the shape pattern. You're going to translate it first into colors and then into letters, okay? So think about how many different things you see. That'll tell you if it's two, you need 2 colors, 2 letters. If you see 3 different things, it'll be 3 colors, 3 letters. So think about how many different parts you have. Okay, so there's 2 pages to this. Okay, so I want you to do both of those. So the shapes are already there. Then you translate it into color. Then you translate it into letters. Remember, you're sticking with the beginning letters of the alphabet. The first part of the pattern gets an A, always. Okay, so A will always be first. Second part of your pattern gets a B. Third part of your pattern gets a C. Fourth part gets a D. Now, if you give the first part an A, but you see that again, remember, then you use A again. So anytime you see that color or that shape, you'll use A. Okay, so you're going to do that. Then, if you're up for a challenge, you're like, I'm really ready for a challenge. I want to do this. You can do your own. So you'll build it first with shapes. So you're going to decide which shapes to use. Then translate it to color and then letters. Same thing here. Use shapes to make a pattern. Translate it to colors and then letters. And same here. Okay? So that's if you're up for a challenge and you want to do that, you can do that part. Okay? All right, everyone, go ahead and start translating patterns.